Is there a motion to terminate Keith Freeman?
Then, unfortunately, we knew it was going to be a little messy, but it's just something we felt important that had to be done, that should be done. So, but like I said, you have just some kind of...
All right, let's dive right into this roller coaster that's got everyone talking. If you haven't heard the name Tiffany Henyard by now, you've probably been living under a rock. Mayor of Dolton, Illinois, and supervisor of Thornton Township, she's been in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. What started as whispers about mismanagement and questionable leadership has now spiraled into full-blown chaos, complete with restraining orders, federal investigations, and a community that's fed up to their limits.
Everybody, is it a reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for.
So what's really going on with this super mayor who once had a tight grip on the political scene? Is she about to lose it all? Let's break it down because trust us, the drama runs deep. First off, let's talk about that shocking court ruling. Just recently, a Cook County judge stepped in and put a stop to Henyard's controversial appointments. That's right, she tried to pull a fast one by appointing a new police chief, village administrator, and village attorney without getting the necessary approval from the village board of trustees. If that sounds shady to you, you're not alone. It was a blatant power grab, and the court wasn't having any of it. Judge Thaddeus Wilson didn't just issue a slap on the wrist, he issued a restraining order that blocked her from making any of those appointments. Henyard's attempts to sidestep the system have clearly backfired, and the legal consequences are starting to pile up.
The judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from trustees.
This isn't just some small-town mayor facing a minor reprimand. This is a full-on legal smackdown. What's really wild is that these weren't just minor appointments either. We're talking about key positions that essentially run the town. Henyard thought she could bypass the system, but the judge made it crystal clear. She doesn't have the authority to do that. And the judge didn't stop there. He explicitly warned her that if she continues to push these appointments, she could be held in contempt of court. The stakes have just been raised, and it's clear that Henyard's actions are being watched very closely.
The judge today declining to hold her in contempt, but did warn her that if she did not follow the ruling, he would.
Can you imagine a sitting mayor being held in contempt for ignoring a court order? That's next-level drama. But this isn't just about Henyard overstepping her legal boundaries. It's part of a much bigger story about how she's run things, or more accurately, how she's mismanaged them. This ruling is a massive blow to her, as it essentially says, asterisk, your power isn't unchecked, and the courts are keeping a close eye on you. And it's not just the court watching her, there's also a federal investigation brewing. That's right, the FBI is now involved, digging into how she's handled her roles as both mayor of Dolton and supervisor of Thornton Township. We all know when the feds come knocking, it's serious business. Subpoenas have been issued, and the investigation centers on possible corruption and financial mismanagement. They're combing through everything: employment records, financial documents, and even contracts involving some of Henyard's closest allies. This is starting to look like the beginning of something much bigger.
Guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the People's Mayor and People's Super.
Here's where things get really juicy. The ongoing investigation is uncovering some serious spending issues. Rumor has it that Henyard has been splurging on lavish trips, expensive dinners, and who knows what else, all funded by taxpayers. One of the most eyebrow-raising discoveries, a staggering $40,000 spent on Amazon purchases in a single day. Seriously, who spends that kind of money on Amazon, especially when it's not their money to spend? It's clear that investigators are leaving no stone unturned. They seem to be zeroing in on how Henyard has handled, or more accurately, mishandled, public funds. And based on what's coming to light, this could be just the tip of the iceberg.
Make a one-day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon. And the main thing is,
speaking of mismanagement, the people of Dolton and Thornton Township have had enough. Residents are furious, taking to the streets in protest, demanding answers and calling for Henyard to step down. And honestly, who can blame them? When the town's general fund is $365 million in the red, and the mayor is allegedly using public money for personal gain, it's hard not to be angry. The community's outrage is palpable, and it's not just about the money. It's about the lack of transparency, the secrecy, and the overall mismanagement that has left these towns in disarray. People are tired of being ignored, and they're making it clear that change is needed.
The township residents are paying for her.
One of the clearest signs of the growing anger is the wave of protests erupting across Dolton and Thornton Township. Residents are rallying with powerful messages displayed on their signs, reading asterisk, "Take our township back asterisk," and asterisk "Henyard must go." Asterisk. These protests aren't just small gatherings of a few frustrated individuals. They represent a large and growing movement of people who feel betrayed and exploited by the very leader they elected to serve them. It's not just the residents expressing their outrage. Trustees from the board, Henyard's own colleagues, are equally fed up. They were the ones who took her to court over her illegal appointments, and they're making it clear they won't let this issue fade quietly into the background. Together, residents and trustees are sending a unified message. Enough is enough.
One of the reasons I won't know when we go through our board packets, it's like, some of this stuff, it's like you don't know exactly what it's for, and then when you ask the question, there's no answer.
Let's take a closer look at a particularly heated legal battle unfolding in Thornton Township. Meet Gerald Jones, a former employee who is suing the township for retaliatory discharge. His story is both shocking and telling. Jones alleges that after reporting a rodent infestation at the township's food assistance program, he became the target of harassment and threats from Keith Price, a close ally of Tiffany Henyard. Price, who oversaw the food assistance program, reportedly made Jones's life unbearable after he blew the whistle on the rodent issue. According to Jones, the threats escalated to the point where he felt he had no choice but to leave his job. This isn't just a case of workplace bullying, it's outright intimidation. And where was Henyard in all of this? Jones claims she stood by and allowed Price to operate unchecked, painting a grim picture of how leadership is handled under her administration. The lawsuit isn't just about Jones' ordeal, it points to a broader pattern of retaliation and abuse under Henyard's watch. Jones's case shines a harsh light on what appears to be a toxic work environment in Thornton Township. It's not just one employee's story, it's a culture of fear and intimidation that has been allowed to thrive. And Jones isn't alone. Other former employees are now stepping forward with similar stories of harassment and retaliation, suggesting a much deeper systemic issue at play.
Her chief of police late last year without any approval from the village board. So now Robert Collins has filed a lawsuit against the village.
So what's next for Tiffany Henyard? It's hard to say for certain, but it's clear her time in power is running out. With a court ruling, a federal investigation, and mounting public outcry, she's facing battles on every front. And the restraining orders highlight that this isn't just about appointments. It's about the very structure of governance in Dolton and Thornton Township being called into question.
I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything. It will be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
Henyard's hold on power is slipping quickly, and one local resident's comment perfectly captures the growing frustration. Tiffany is losing her stronghold over the trustees, and she can't handle it. She got way too greedy, and her time is coming to an end. That's the sentiment on the ground. People are fed up and ready for a change. Henyard's once tight grip on the Board of Trustees is slipping, and she's scrambling to maintain whatever power she has left. But with investigations deepening and lawsuits piling up, it feels like only a matter of time before everything comes crashing down. And it's not just the legal troubles weighing her down. Public perception is turning sharply against her. More and more voices are questioning how she's managed to prolong this debacle without facing real consequences. As one comment aptly puts it, this has gone on far too long, and the community deserves better. Why is it that this crook has stretched these charges out so long when an average citizen would already be in jail? Double standards in the law again? It's a question many are asking, and it's only adding fuel to the fire of public outrage. The community's frustration grows with each new development as people demand answers and accountability in the face of escalating controversy.
Those officers to be on the street fighting crime, and instead we have several officers that are riding around protecting.
True to form, Tiffany Henyard isn't backing down without a fight. She has come out swinging, with her personal attorney claiming she's the victim of a smear campaign orchestrated by a corrupt board of trustees. According to her lawyer, this is all about factional politics, with the trustees allegedly trying to hijack the mayor's office. It's a bold claim, but it doesn't seem to be resonating. The evidence against Henyard continues to pile up, and her attempts to frame herself as the victim are only fueling skepticism. For many, her defiance only strengthens the belief that she's guilty of the very accusations she's trying to deny.
I don't believe that is legally correct. That's just not the way municipalities operate.
Tiffany Henyard's defiance seems to be making an already messy situation even worse. After a restraining order was issued, reports suggest she acted as if it didn't apply to her, allegedly instructing her appointees to continue working despite.